Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, in this video, we're going to go over all the acoustic parts, and then part 2 will be all the electric parts, okay? And I'll leave a link to part 2 up here somewhere, and also I'll leave it down in the description box of the video, down below here, okay? And that might be a few days till I get that up, but it'll be there before you know it. Anyways, I'm going to get right into this song. It's open tuned, right? And it's a very strange tuning. I don't know any other song that uses this tuning. So credit to Jimmy Page. I don't know where he came up with this. And it just shows his kind of really, you know, he's a creative genius that plays guitar basically, right? I don't think it would matter what he was doing. He's just super creative and very inventive and innovative. And even after saying that, even though this open tuning is really interesting and unique, a lot of the devices in the song are actually quite cliche. Well, I don't want to say cliche, but quite common, okay? And I was reading that George Harrison talked to him. I think it was him or John Paul Jones, and suggested that they should do a ballad. And so this was the result of that conversation. And it's interesting because the first chord is like a G major, and then it goes down to a G major 7. And the story goes that was kind of Jimmy Page's ode to George Harrison, right? Because that's the first two chords of Something, right? Something in the way she moves, right? Okay, so it's just a little interesting song fact there. Anyways, so the tuning in this is going to be, I'll just go through it. The E string is going to be D, A string G, D string is C, the G string stays the same, B string is tuned to C, and the E string is tuned to D. So we got D, G, C, G, C, D. Okay? And it's kind of an oddball tuning, and it kind of makes the intonation on the guitar a little bit different. I find it does anyway. So what I did when I did the demo, when I tuned both my electric and this acoustic this way, is I just sharped up the D string, G string, and B string. Those three strings I just tuned just a fraction sharp, okay? So, you know, get it on your tuner and just go just a slight hair sharp, okay? And that, to me, that really helps with the tuning. So anyways, let's get right into it. We're going to start with that first chord, and we're going to be up here on the 7th fret, and we're going to go D7 and B7, and we want to get those with our third finger on the D, little finger on the B. We're going to upstroke that, right? Upstroke it down to the A string, okay? And with the open tuning, that's a G chord, okay? And we want to do it with these fingers because we're going to go down and then we're going to wind up here. Okay, so it's just less movement. I mean, you could do it with any fingers you wanted, really. It's just when you go to this chord, you're just going to be all set to do it, right? Okay? And these chords are going to repeat throughout, okay? And I may fret them different ways, but what I'll do is I'll just call whatever fret I'm on, because they're all the same. They're all the D string and the B string on the same fret. Okay, so the first one is on the 7th fret, upstroke down to the A. Okay, and in the acoustic, we're going to strum in between every chord, right? So we've got, and we're going to drop it down a fret, do the same thing. And then we're going to go open A, and we're going to hit this chord, which is like a G. It's like a bar chord, right? Like that, with your little finger here, okay? And we're just going to hit that open A. Okay, and we're going to go with the upper string, right? With the B string. And that's a real oddball kind of a shape, so it'll take a little while to kind of get that, and just make sure that you're not trying to, you know, get your fingertip down there. The best way of getting that is to just go go from there and just lay your finger down, so you're kind of fretting it right on the side of your finger, right? Just lay it down there, right? Okay, and then we're going to go to here, which is just a bar on the 3rd fret, D, G, and B with the open A. So far we've got, and I'm going to play this faster because if I play it at the right tempo, which is super slow, and actually my advice on the tempo for this song is play it slow, okay, and then play it slower, okay? It's really slow, but I'm not going to play it slow here. So here we go. Now from here, we're going to go, we're just going to bar here on like the 2nd fret. It'd be like playing an A chord, right? And we're just going to go, right? Okay? So that's that whole first section. So just play it through slow. Strumming in between. Okay, and don't get that note, which I think I just did. Right? Okay, there. So you got those 2 A's. Right? Okay, now we're going to get into these 2-note chords. And we're going to start on the 11th fret, 9th, 12th, 11th, 4th, 9th. Okay, so and those are all upstrokes, okay? And you want to focus on that B string. Okay, but if you hit that high E, you know, that's going to work out just fine. And in fact, in the demo, I mostly did that. Because the electric guitar is just strictly on the it's just strictly on the B string. Okay, so we do that twice. Again. Okay, and then we're going to do that little lick there, which is just like playing a D chord, like a D bar chord, but only this part of it, right? And we're just going to, and on the acoustic one, he picks both, or strums both. Okay, the electric slides it down, and actually there's a slide part there too, but I'll discuss that in part 2. Okay, so we're here, and then we strum in between, right? And then we kind of drop down to this A minor shape, like an A minor here, but just up here. Sorry, there. So from here to here. Okay, so we just kind of arpeggiate that. Okay, and then we're going to come down to here. Okay, and actually I didn't do that quite right, but from here, and to get to that part, we want to hit those open strings. I kind of hit the open D and G string there. But it's an upstroke, right? And Jimmy Page does that a lot. He always seems to me to use the open strings in those transitions from chords. Okay, so from here, right? Okay, and then we're going to be here on the 5th fret, middle finger here in the D string, 3rd finger on the E string, and we're just going to go here basically. Right? So, but upstrokes. So you're after there, right, with the upstrokes. Let me go back to that again, right? That does it. I'm not sure how many times. You can listen to the track to get the amount of times it does it, but I think it's 3 or 4 times. And on the last time, we do that. It's like, right? But we bounce it off that open G. And then we're going to get into this lick. Okay, so what we're going to do there is just bar here on the 2nd fret. We're just going to climb that 5th up, right? Sharp the 5, and just keep going up chromatically, right? All the while doing this lick. Right? Right? And we got to put our little finger here. Okay, and that's a real old-fashioned kind of songwriting trick. So many songs do that. To make you happy. You know, there's a whole bunch of others. I wrote them all down, but I forget them now. But real common songwriting trick there, right? You know, some guys will, it depends on what context you're playing this. If you're playing it in a band and you've got an electric guitar player and you're doing acoustic, you just want to stick to this acoustic part, right? And that's what I tried to do in the tutorial, is just the parts that are on the record, okay? Because live, he does... He does all those licks in there, but I'm not really concerned about that with this acoustic part. I'm just trying to show you what's on the record. Okay, so we finally get up here, and then we're going to go, right? We're going to fret here on B4, but the same note as E2. So it kind of gives you that really, that kind of 12-string sound, right? Okay, now you don't need to do that. You could go, but if you go, it kind of, I think that's what he's doing on the record. Okay, so from there, and we're gonna let go of that and just go here, then open G. So. But like this. And then we're here. Okay, just barring on the 4th fret and getting this 5th fret with our 3rd finger on the E string. And the first time he's just going to strum that. And he's going to hit open again here. Open D, or sorry, open G and B. And then this chord where we're going to bar on the 2nd fret and little finger on the 4th of the E. So right, real slow. And then we're going to finish up with this chord, which is just middle finger on A2, and we just strum those all going forward, and we do this lick, right? Open, open, open. And ends up there, just back to that A. Doing that, Okay, and that's the first cycle of the tune. This cycle goes by 3 times, and then we're in the middle bit. Okay, and they're all pretty well the same, except the second cycle it's just an extended bit. Okay, so it's all the same, and then we get to this part in here. So we're going to add that, right? We're going to go back up. Okay, back up to here, barred on the 5th and little finger on E7. Okay, so try that again. Back here. Open D and G. Right? And then here. Okay, and then we've got that back to that, okay? And yeah, so take it from here. So that's the little extension part, and you'll see guys playing this by adding this bass note and this bass note, and this bass note, right? Okay, and you know, you can do that if you want, if you're playing this by yourself again, but on the record, I don't really hear that in the guitar. That's the bass that's doing that. And I've seen a few live videos of Jimmy Page playing this. And there's a couple of Heart, actually, too. Excuse me, with Nancy Wilson. And, well, they just don't include those notes, okay? And I can kind of see why, because I find these chords really kind of choke off the guitar, you know? I mean, they sound okay, but it's a lot easier to play this way. And to me, the notes are just brighter and clearer, okay? So I don't play those bass notes, but you could if you wanted to. It's kind of a personal choice, right? Okay, so anyways, that's that extended part. And now, of the second cycle, right? Then they do a third cycle, and then we get into that middle bit, which... And all that is, the middle bit is just it's just like a G chord, which you can play this way, you know, just barring on the 7th fret. So it's just going to go G to F over that G bass, because that A string is a G, right? And then we're going to do a C chord, and we can do that C chord by just the D string, the G string, and the B string. It's going to give us that D chord, or the C chord. Okay, so we got G, F, C, and then back to G. Okay, so, and you can play it this way. Got that, just that little lead down there, and I think actually that's the bass that's doing that. It's hard to hear the guitars in this part, okay, because the other instruments kind of overshadow everything. But what I did in the demo is I just did a couple of acoustic guitar parts there. One up here. Just one there without that third, right? Okay, so then it's going to do it again. The first cycle is, you know, all over that G bass. And the second time, he's going to put the bass to G, okay, or to F, which is here on E3, and just barring the D, G, and B strings. I mean, that, you know, you can do it whatever way you want, but to me that's a pretty solid F chord there. Okay, so we're going from the G to the F, back to the C. Okay, so that seems to be the cycle there. Okay, so just play that whole section. Get out of it by back into this, right? Okay. Okay, so that's the middle section. So now we want to get into the ending. And the ending is going to come out of this. Okay, so we're just up here. Okay, but we're going to play it with chords, so we're going to bar in the 7th, little finger up here on the 9th, on the E string, right? And then we're here, right? And we're going to strum in between, so. Okay. Then we're going to go. And then we're going to come here. So. Right? Open D and G, or G and B. We're going to do this like. Right? So from here back to there, and then here to there, barring on the 7th with our 3rd finger on the 8th. So from here we're going to be, and then here, barring on the 8th, little finger on the 10th. And then we single note here on the 12th fret of the E string. Okay, so from here, and then we're into the last lick. Now here again, you'll see guys playing that like this. Okay, so you can do that if you want. You're just, you know, here, here, here. They're all the same chord, just moving up the neck. Okay, but like I say, you watch the live versions and they don't play it that way. And on the album, I'm positive they played it that way, because the bass is covering those notes. Okay, so now getting into that last lick, what I'll do now, and you can see Jimmy Page on the live version, one of the live versions of this, when he hits that note, he just tosses his pick, right? Because he's going to finger pick this next bit. But what I'm going to do is, because I'm just going to stick it on my knee because I want it for the last chord. Okay, I mean, I don't need it. I could do the last chord with my finger, but I'll want to use the pick. Okay, so from here, okay, so now we're going to get into this picking, and we're going to play like an A chord, like an A bar chord, but just here with that open E. We're going to just go straight across. Okay, and then back. So, see my hands, picking hand. Okay, we do that twice. And now we're going to get into this form, which is like a D minor, right? And little finger here, we're going to pull off there. I'm going to go, okay, but hit the bass note with our thumb, the open D. And in here on the B6, because the electric there does that one, plays that one, but the acoustic plays this one. Okay, and then we're going to come down here. Same thing, just pulling off here. Okay, so we got, and then we're going to come take this and bring it down 2 frets. And we're going to go, right? And when I go, I just use all 3 fingers. Okay, so I go. Okay, so that whole bit from here is. Okay, and now we're gonna do this where we get our middle finger on A5, 3rd finger on B5, and we're gonna go G string, B string, E string. Just straight across, right? Drop it down a fret. Same thing, drop it down 2 frets. Right? Just going through it twice. Okay, so from here. And we want to make sure we let that ring, that E string ring as we're sliding down, right? We don't want to go, you know, we want to let that ring. So make sure you're coming, you know, down on the strings with your fingertips. Okay, and then grab the pick, and the last chord is just an A chord here. And you just strum all 6 strings. Okay, and a lot of guys will want to play the A like that, or like this, you know, where you put that one in there and you jam the rest in. I'm lucky because my fingers, from years of playing, my fingers bend, so I can fret that without snubbing out that high E. And that's the last chord of the song. Okay. So we just do that whole last bit there then from here. Let me see. Okay, and that's it. That's the Rain song, acoustic part. Okay, so the electric part I'll have up soon, and there'll be links to it, like I said, up here in the video and down below in the description box. So definitely check that out, because there's some really cool things that the electric's doing that are different than the acoustic, okay? They match up in a lot of places, but there's some really neat little deals that he's doing there as well, okay? All right. Hope you get something out of this, and I hope you enjoy playing it. It's really, really a beautiful song, and it's one of those kind of songs that isn't that hard, but just sounds so nice with all the open strings. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.